Hey. Right, so I've been talking about doing a lot, and quite rightly, someone's put on my channel a comment, which is true. There's too many people with the illusion of doing. We don't want the illusion, we want to actually do. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of Steiner lately, and then this happened. This is from Steiner's book, The Appearance of Christ in the Etheric. Very good book about what's happening with where Christ is now and how we need to work on our etheric bodies. But Steiner says, on deeper scrutiny, one realizes that in the ordinary waking condition of physical life, man has, as a rule, little power or control over his will. The will quite detaches itself from daily life. Observe attentively what we call the human will, and you will see how little man has in his control during daily life regarding the will impulse. Only consider how little of your own thinking and forming of mental pictures, of your personal individual decisions. When someone knocks at the door and you say, "Come in," that cannot be called a true decision of your own thinking and willing. If you are hungry and seek yourself for a meal, that cannot be called a decision made by the will, because it is occasioned by your condition, by the needs of your organism. Try to picture your daily life and you will see how little the will is directly influenced from the human centre. Why is this the case? Esoteric teachings show us that regarding his will, man actually sleeps by day. That is, he does not really live within his will impulses at all. We can evolve better and better concepts and mental pictures, or we can become more highly moral, more refined individuals, but we can do nothing regarding the will. If we cultivate better thoughts, we can work indirectly upon the will, but we can do nothing directly to the will that concerns life. This is because in our daily life, our will is influenced only in an indirect way, namely through sleep. When you are asleep, you do not think, you do not form mental pictures. The will, however, awakes, permeates our organism from outside, and invigorates it. We feel strengthened in the morning because what has penetrated into our organism is of the nature of will. That we do not perceive this activity of the will, that we know nothing about it, becomes comprehensible if we consider that all conceptual activity sleeps when we sleep. To begin with, therefore, we will offer this suggestion for further contemplation, further meditation. You will see that the more progress you make in self-knowledge, the more you will find confirmation of the truth of the words that man sleeps in his will when he is awake and sleeps in his conceptual life when he is asleep. The life of will sleeps by day, the life of thought sleeps by night. So that's Steiner in this book. Can I show it to you? So I'm standing by a cupboard because it's freezing outside, and so I've just quickly come in for a quick break. But what are we trying to do here? Develop our will, wake up. And to wake up, we need to develop our will to do it. And it's good to see Steiner saying this kind of thing. It's kind of like Gurdjieff in some ways, isn't it? Both aware that we're asleep. In fact, Steiner goes on to say in this book, he starts talking about the two streams. And I know people are going to want to know, did Steiner and Gurdjieff ever meet? Not that I know of. I'm not even sure if they were aware of each other. I think they might have been. But then is that important? Them times when Gurdjieff, Steiner, Blavatsky, Roerich and all the others were around was a chance for the world to have this new knowledge. Well, it's not new knowledge, it's old knowledge being brought back. Forgotten knowledge. Because it was a time of awakening, because this is, in a way, the end times, but not the end times as in the end of humanity. We're at a pivotal point, changeover, and humanity can either evolve or it can devolve. And I keep having people saying to me, "Oh, Gurdjieff says everything's going to be all right. Steiner says everything's going to be all right." Yeah, they do if we develop ourselves, if we develop our will and we go upwards to our higher selves. Otherwise, we will devolve and the planet won't evolve and the planet won't continue on its harmonious cycle that it should be part of. Not everything is fixed. Not everything is fated. Or I don't believe it is. You know, they're all saying, but they're all, people are saying that, you know, Christ will return, everything, the light always wins. Not necessarily. We don't know that for sure. When have we ever been in a spiritual battle where we've seen that light always wins? What does the future foretell? We're not sure. I know many people, and myself included, I was very into astrology, and I still am. And, you know, the astrological charts for the future, not looking too great at the moment, but there is hope, because we need to fight against all these dark forces that are coming against us. You know, this is the challenge. We're being warned, and we've been warned by Steiner, been warned by Gurdjieff, we've been warned by Blavatsky and others, that this is the time that humanity needs to wake up and use its will. You know, I'd even say perhaps Crowley was given all this knowledge because he had to send it forth. He might not have understood what was coming in the future. You know, maybe he didn't have that spiritual connection to the higher self, but he understood how the will works. And that's what we need to do, understand how to develop our wills, our will, W-I-L-L, so that we can reach to the higher centres and the higher self, go upwards. We want to evolve, not be stuck in this materialistic realm that seems to be happening, which is a dark forces entrapment. And reading Steiner, he talks a lot about how the dark forces are trying to entrap human souls so that they don't return to the divine. You know, that's the dark forces' mission, to distract us from the divine source and from godly thinking and spiritual ways and soulfulness. So we're trying to go forwards in love and light, of course, but also an awakening and with our will leading us. And it's got to be developed. As Steiner was saying in that quote, and as Gurdjieff talks about a lot, we spend most of our times asleep. We need to do, and, you know, many people are living in an illusion that they are doing. We need to wake up and actually do. These are the times. So, peace, love, and light to everybody. And let's go forward, developing our will together, hopefully. I don't want to be stuck on this planet. I want to return to the divine at some point. I want to get off this will and get on to the next stage of life. So I hope many of you do too. So, love and peace. And till next time, adios.